Hi, First Ascents friends. I'm here with Half Squat again.
Hello.
And this is going to be a brief meditation visualization that's going to take you through your First Ascents experience, and then Half Squat and I are just going to talk a little bit about that. So if you're comfortable, just like close down your eyes, and you can be in a chair, you can lay down, and this is going to be about a minute or two, and just start to reflect back on your experience, and from the moment that you showed up towards going out on an adventure, and just all of the things that were coming up for you, maybe going to campfire and having those times that you're connecting with your peers, all of the feelings that came up as you were out doing the adventures together, and kayaking or surfing, rock climbing, thinking about what felt really empowering in your body, even those other emotions that maybe when you had doubts too, and then how you overcame all of that during the experience, and starting to kind of come towards the tail end of the trip and thinking about, when you knew you were going to be coming to a close and going home and how that felt for you. Thinking about those relationships that were formed. And then whatever else you want to kind of take from that experience, the lessons learned, any key messages that are coming to mind. And you can blink open your eyes when you feel ready. And Half Squat, I'm just going to ask you a few questions about your experience.
All right.
Everyone else can be thinking about theirs still too, but what came up for you during that visualization?
Like a lot of the campfire nights. Campfire nights is probably one of my favorite traditions that FD does, is when we all come together and go over the day, hand out those goofy awards, and just the fact that you feel so connected to this group of people that you just met days prior, and you feel like you've known them your whole life. So those are my favorite moments.
Yeah, and that you can even probably connect with them just after a normal day at home, and try to maybe reach out if you need to. Let's have a little mini campfire.
With the trips that I've been on, the group of people that I've been on the trips with, we have group texts that we check in with each other on, and there's the one trip, the group that we went ice climbing, we do Zoom calls. And once a month we'll do a whole group Zoom call where we all get together and just check in with each other and see how everybody's doing. Because these are people that I don't know, you do these challenges with that brings such a closeness to them that you weren't expecting before, that leaving them at the end of the week, it's sad.
And you have that commonality that brought you together to begin with, right? And that is still there and present when you're at home and you're navigating your lives with that same diagnosis, and that you have that to turn to and be how do we help each other?
Because even having a very strong support system at home, a lot of times their empathy and their them checking in on you, a lot of those things that they say, it starts to feel hollow because you're you don't know, you're just saying it. But having a group of people that we all have different cancer diagnoses, but we all go through the same things and we feel the same things, that you now you're dude, you truly understand what I'm going through. So it makes you feel less alone in the world, because with a cancer diagnosis, it's so isolating. And you're I'm the only one. Clearly not, but those are the thoughts you have, and it just makes you feel so trapped inside yourself.
And that's why you instantly bond right up from the get-go, right? When you meet each other, it's we don't need to know each other's names. We're just here.
Yep.
We already know each other, right?
It doesn't take long.
So how did you stay connected with FD after your experience?
After the programs, I was just so grateful to what FD gave back to me that I felt I a strong, deep desire to give back to FD. So I volunteered a lot with their, they have the running teams that do certain races, bike teams that do races, and like going and volunteering for like the aid stations, and like cheer zones. And then like at the time when I joined, we had monthly meetups that blossomed into the community adventures, which like I started like organizing those and like getting my peers together on a regular basis just to keep that FD magic. Like, love the FD magic, and it's weird, so surreal going back into like real life, like after a week long of this like adventure that you're like, dude, I can do this. I can still live a normal life, outside of having cancer. Like, I am more than my diagnosis.
Yes, and so like taking those feelings of the empowerment and being like, I'm going to keep this rolling, and you like almost took like a leadership role in that, right? And like you started organizing some of your own and seeking out where you could get connected. And I love the gratitude piece as well. And then let's just say that there's no community adventures happening, and what can you do then, you know, to get out living it just in your normal everyday life, like in a normal place where maybe the mountains or, you know, a river is not accessible?
Right? We're not all blessed to live in Colorado, right?
Exactly.
I mean, anything really that makes you have that like sense of outliving it, like anything that you actually enjoy doing, like, or even just taking a couple of minutes, like by yourself, like in a quiet space to like get back in touch with yourself. But really, like go to the movies, or like try to keep those like local relationships. Maybe they aren't like FD alumni relationships, but even like reaching back out to like maybe the friends that like you fell to the wayside, and like reconnecting with those folks just to like give you a better sense of a community outside of the community you've just inherited.
Yes, I love that. And the part about connecting with your own self too, like sometimes it's, you know, it's always good to have other people to connect with, but like connecting with your own self through different like mindfulness practices. And it doesn't have to be formal ones, but if you do want to maybe try some more, we have a whole YouTube channel of resources, and some of them do feature alumni, and are there shorter mindful moments on up to like longer yoga practices with alumni. And so those are ways to kind of feel other people's energy and practice like in this virtual space with them. But like mindfulness is also something that we practice in our everyday lives. And like you mentioned, just going and sitting in your car, maybe like taking a moment to practice the pause, just take 5 minutes to yourself, take some deep breaths. Like that's a big one. Like breathing is our most natural and effective resource that we have. You know, tuning into our senses when we do get outside, like finding that special place in nature and just like being there and being present. Really focusing on like how you nourish your body, like maybe even tapping into a few like FD recipes. I don't know. I know their food is so good, right?
I miss the FD food so much.
I know. We have a whole like resource of different recipes to try at home, and different cooking videos, so you can kind of like tap back into that experience. And I think like a big one for me is like compassion practice for myself. Like when I'm navigating something difficult, like if you're navigating a health diagnosis, it's sometimes challenging to have that self-compassion. It's like, I gotta be strong and get through this, but then there's also this like, I gotta be here with it, and you know,
like allow yourself that vulnerability to like feel the feelings. Like you don't have to put on a brave face all the time, but like it's kind of one of those things that we like just like blindly inherit again, like that. Like, I can't show the pain that I'm going through because I don't necessarily want the sympathy that follows it.
Yeah, exactly. But then it's like sometimes people want to offer the sympathy too. And that's where your FD peeps, it's like that all happens naturally, but you know, other people in life too, like allowing them in and to be part of that. But then also compassion with other people, right? And like sharing the love and
sharing the love.
Exactly.
It's there. Go find it.
I know here at FD, we like to use journaling as a practice to kind of like wrap up the experience and focus on, you know, our thoughts and remember the special parts of it. Do you journal much at home?
No.
That's okay.
To get in touch with myself and to like get my emotions out, I'm not much of a writer. I have creative outlets, so like I'll crochet and I'll paint, and it allows me to like get in touch with myself, get in touch with my feelings, and to like get the feelings out. Like, so painting is a huge one for Amy. I love to paint.
That's very expressive too. Like a very similar thing, like where you can almost like be reflecting on your experience as you paint something like a scenery or of what you just experienced at a trip, right?
Or even getting angry and throwing paint at a canvas, like get it out.
yeah, totally. Like this is a post like feeling FD blues feeling, and I want to just like get it out on the canvas. So
which sometimes it's real, like the FD blues, because like you're doing such an amazing thing, like to empower yourself and like connecting with others, that when you don't have it just readily available, you do start to like kind of go back into like maybe not the best of habits, like or like negative mindsets that you like never even thought about while you're on that week long. Like it's strange.
Yes, because when you're just like in the present moment, in nature, out an experience, like that is the ultimate mindfulness practice where you're just, it keeps you in the flow of life. And so like when you're home and there's all these other things keeping the mind more critical, it's a little harder to be there, right? And yeah.
The muggle life.
The muggle life.
That's what I call it. It's the muggle life.
Yes, and so, but it's all good. Like Half Squat said, there's lots of ways to plug in, and if it's not as like formal as a community adventure, it's tapping into those relationships that you've made and like really seeking out how you can like reconnect on a regular basis, because everyone's got your back. You are part of the FD fam for life. For life. Yes.
One of us. What was that movie? Where they chant one of us?
Yeah. If you do want to journal though, because some people do really process emotions that way. I know I do. I love to write, and sometimes I don't allow myself the space to, but every time I do, I'm actually surprised like what comes out, and like, oh, I needed that more than I thought I did, and it's time. I need to slow down sometimes to do that. So some questions are just like, what are your key moments from your FD experience that you want to remember? What are some big takeaways that you want to like bring back into your life? And then just start to like reflect, like how do you want to personally feel connected and reconnect with people? So Half Squat gave some really great ideas, but you might be starting to come up with some of your own. Maybe make a little list of them, and then you could even put like a date of like, I'm gonna do this by a certain date, and just give yourself a little goal there. And then just like how you can get out living it in your own life and like what that looks like for you. Because it might be a little more challenging if you live in like a city and don't have your natural resources like right there, but you might have a favorite park or a favorite place that makes you feel
like a museum, an art gallery, like just something that's going to like trigger those feelings within you again.
Yeah, the feelings of like joy and fun and like being present in what you're doing.
And self-accomplishment. Like
an accomplishment.
You've never felt stronger after like a program, I tell you. Like you're like, I did that. I really did do that.
Yes.
So it's those feelings that you want to try to recreate, because dealing with cancer, it's hard.
To say the least, right? So what makes you feel like on a daily basis that sense of like, I did that, right? Like, and you might have to dig a little deep sometimes, but it's definitely there are ways, right?
Oh yeah, you just spent a week proving to yourself that it is still there. You just have to tap into it.
Exactly.
Like
you guys
climbing
got
wall.
this.
You got it.
You got it. Thanks so much, everybody.